Hello and welcome back to Kim's Cozy Corner. I'm Kim and today we are going to set up another GreenStalk. Yes, I know I said I wasn't buying any more, but I just couldn't help myself. So we are in my neighbor's garden and every garden needs a GreenStalk. So we're going to set a GreenStalk up on the corner of their garden space. And so one of the first things we've done, and my wonderful neighbor, Mr. Jim, has already leveled out the ground for me. And so since we're on the corner, we're kind of going downhill. So what we did was add some, I think it's called flagstone, flat pieces of stone to level out this space to make sure that the GreenStalk's going to be level. That's a very important part of setting up the GreenStalk because if it's not level, it won't water properly. So we've already done that step, thanks to my wonderful neighbor. We're going to use a spinner in this space, but we're not going to use wheels because we don't plan on wheeling this around the garden. But we do want to be able to spin it to make sure that everything in the GreenStalk can get equal sunlight on all sides. This step is done, and we're going to start with the setup. Now, I ordered 2 GreenStalks. I know, I couldn't help myself. I ordered 2. I ordered 1 leaf GreenStalk, and I ordered 1 original GreenStalk. And if you don't know what a GreenStalk is, please check out my video, All Things GreenStalk, and it talks about what you can plant in the GreenStalk, the concept of the GreenStalk, and you'll see pictures from last year's garden of the things that I grew in my GreenStalk. And there's also a link there that you can follow to get a discount on your first purchase. But I had ordered both an original and a leaf GreenStalk. The original GreenStalk that I ordered comes with 5 tiers, and each of the tiers are 10 inches deep. And the leaf GreenStalk that I ordered comes with 7 tiers, and they're 7 inches deep. I like to mix and match my GreenStalks. So let's see if I can separate them here so I can show you. Uh-oh, here we go again. I got them stuck. Here we go. So this is an original GreenStalk, 10 inches deep. This is a leaf GreenStalk. It's only 7 inches deep, so you can see the difference. They're the same circumference around, so you can mix and match. For this particular space, we're going to do mostly leafy greens, so I can use the leaf planters versus the deeper one, but you never know. I want the flexibility, so we're going to put at least 1 original on the bottom of this one, and we're going to put 5 leaf on here. That way I can mix, I can match. If I want to grow broccoli, I can grow broccoli. If I want to grow lettuce, I can grow lettuce. So we want to keep our options open. So the first thing that we need to do is fill all of these containers with soil. So let me fill them with potting mix, good quality potting mix, not soil, not topsoil, not garden soil, not raised bed soil, good quality potting mix. I personally like to use Pro Mix or either Miracle Grow Moisture Control. Those are my preferred 2 brands, but there's others out there. So you just want to make sure you have a good draining potting mix. I am going to fill all of these tiers with the potting mix, and I will be right back. I'm back. I have filled up each and every one of my containers, and we have 6 containers with the soil. When you're adding the soil to the container, you need to put the soil all the way to the top, and that's what we've done. And then I took a few minutes and worked with my wonderful neighbors to find out what did they want to put in their GreenStalk. So we have a combination of many different things. So we have transplants as well as seeds. So let's talk real quickly about what the plan is for each and every one of these. So there are 6 tiers. And if there's 6 tiers and 6 pockets, if you can do some math, that's 36 spaces that they have to grow vegetables in addition to everything that they got back here. We went over and picked through all of the different transplants that we have ready to go into the garden, as well as things that you can start from seeds. For this first container here, we're going to put carrots and radishes in here. Now, radish only needs 28 to 32 days to get to maturity. I can start radishes from the seeds, and a month from now, we're eating radishes, or should I say my neighbors are eating radish. And so we're going to plant the purple plum and the traditional French breakfast. French breakfast is what I grew last year. It was really tasty. I even pickled some of those. But the purple plum, I've never had it, but it's really pretty. So we'll do purple plum and French breakfast. And then for carrots, we will just do the Danvers. And this one here, so this is the original, so it's deeper. So I can put larger vegetables in this one. We've picked out broccoli for this one, as well as cauliflower. But my broccoli is still indoors and we haven't hardened it off yet. So we're just gonna save space for it and we'll add it in once it's been hardened off. The cauliflower is called, I believe, Flame Star, and it has a little yellowish or orangish color to it, but they're beautiful. And so we're gonna do every other one of cauliflower and broccoli. In this one here, we're gonna do different types of lettuces, and we will continue to do my garden art. So we're gonna mix up some of the colors and make it very pretty. In this container here, we are going to focus on herbs. And some of my herbs, I'm gonna be honest with you, they've been in these containers for a very long time. But we're gonna see if we can put them in the herb hospital and bring them back to life. So we're gonna have some basil, which again, the basil's looking pretty rough, but we're gonna try to save it. We have some thyme, some oregano, some marjoram that we're gonna put in this container here. And if we have any extra spaces, and we may have one or two, we'll add a couple more lettuce to this particular container. This one here will be crisp head lettuce and spinach. And we'll do the same thing. The spinach is gonna be from seeds. Spinach does not like hot weather. It will bolt on you very quickly. And so I have a hybrid here that's supposed to be able to handle some of that warmer weather. And then I have, it's called Baby Leaf Hybrid. And then we're gonna do the Bloomsdale Long Standings. Those are the two types of spinach. And in this very last one here, we're gonna fill all 6 pockets with micro dwarf tomatoes. The micro dwarf tomatoes only get 12 inches, if that tall, and they put on tons and tons of cherry-sized tomatoes. So those are the items that I'm going to plant into these pockets. So the next step is to put all of these transplants into each of the pockets. And one of the things that I like to do for each of my plants when I'm doing transplants is, even though I have Miracle Grow Moisture Control, which has some fertilizer in it, I like to add Mycos, which is a mycorrhizal inoculant. And it helps the roots get stable and strong. And if you have a strong root, you have a strong plant. So I'm gonna put a little bit of this in each of the holes for all of my transplants. It's a very simple process. I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna come back and show you the next step. We'll be right back. All right, I'm back, and I have all of my plants in. I put my mycorrhizal in all of my transplant. I got my seeds in, and it's time for us now to stack the GreenStalk. So the first thing that we're gonna do, and I talked about it early on, is making sure that the ground is level. If the ground's not level, the GreenStalk won't water properly. I bought the ultimate spinner to go with my GreenStalk. There's 2 different types of spinners. There's a spinner where you need the wheels on it, and the wheels and everything spin around, but we're not rolling this around. So all I need is the ultimate spinner, but you can buy the wheel kit if you need it. So for this particular one, I got it on my level space. I got it right where I want it. And remember, I am planting both original GreenStalks as well as the leaf. So I like to put my larger units on the bottom. So let's grab that tier first and let's put it in place. There it is. Look at that. It's happy. It's very, very happy. And it's nice and level. So in this particular tier, we have cauliflower, and I have spaces for broccoli. And then the next thing you need to do is insert your watering disc. The watering disc has little holes in it, and you want to make sure it's clean, right? It doesn't have too much dirt and debris. And you want to line each of these little holes up with a pocket. And so you just put it right in there, line it up with the pockets, and now we're going to add another level. And so then I want to think, what do I want on top? What do I want where? I have a whole tier of tomatoes. We will put that. No, we're going to put the radishes on top, and we'll put the tomatoes just under the radishes. So the next largest set of vegetables that I'm planting, I believe, is going to be the spinach and the iceberg type lettuce. So let's grab that one next. And when you're stacking them up, you want to make sure that you don't pinch any of your vegetables. So you have to be careful of that. And the pockets alternate. And once they alternate, it should fall right in. I like to double check and make sure it's where it's supposed to be. It is just where it's supposed to be. They're sitting right where they're supposed to be. It spins. And in this one, I have spinach and iceberg lettuce. So same step, grab another one of your watering discs. You line your holes up with each of the pockets, and now we grab another level. I think I'm going to do the herbs next. So all of the rest of these are leaf planters, so they're 7 inches deep. The order honestly doesn't really matter because of the type stuff that I'm planting here. I don't have any plants that get super large like tomatoes or peppers or anything like that. I'm making sure I didn't pinch any of my vegetables, and I'm making sure that they're all the way in there, and they are. In this one, I have basil. Basil I got to be a little careful with because it's still a little cool sometimes at night here, so I want to make sure that the basil is going to be okay. I have marjoram, thyme, oregano, and one, I believe this is crisp head lettuce, like an iceberg lettuce. And I'm just going to keep following the same steps, lining them up. Now this is the one I'm most proud of. This would be my garden art. And my neighbor is an artist, so she will appreciate this. Look at that, it's looking good. Now, my dirt is dry, and I typically would water this in and stack it on each level as I'm going, but that makes it very heavy. So I'm gonna just water it in really good once I get it stacked. So moving on, stacking the next level. All right, so now that I have this next level stacked, I'm going to add the tomatoes. So on this level here, these are all of the tomatoes. And you want to make sure that these legs lock in at every spot. All right, and I didn't pinch any of the lettuce below. In this one here, micro dwarf tomatoes. So there's Orange Hat and Tiny Tim on this level here. One more watering disc, lining up the holes. I'm a little short, so let's see if I'm really lining them up here. And I'm going to put the very top level on. This top level is all radishes. Again, it slipped right in place, but let me double check. Let's make sure we got it in there good. And now that I got it on here, it's looking good. I don't want to pinch my tomatoes. And I have 2 different types of radishes on this level, as well as Denver carrots. I forgot to tell you, I have carrots in here. And then you put the top on. So the actual top is where you're going to water everything from. So we'll add the top now. One of the other things that I'm going to add is this beautiful GreenStalk cover, which is one of their newer products that they just introduced this month, actually. It goes with the self-watering system. We're not going to put this onto a watering system, though we could, because this is the beginning to the drip irrigation. So we could easily tie into the drip irrigation, but we've decided we're not going to do that with this particular planter. So here's the top that we're going to add to it anyway, because there are trees all around me. And so the trees, leaves, trash, other debris, if that gets in here and it gets into each of the watering levels, it could clog the system and then it wouldn't water properly. So let me talk about a couple other things that we're going to do here. One, we're going to water this in really good. Anywhere where I have planted seeds, so anywhere where you don't see a transplant, I am going to water that pocket versus watering it from the middle, because I want to make sure that those seeds get the water and the moisture that they need until they establish the roots. That's just the way that I do it. So we're going to water from the top, and we're going to water each pocket in really good since it's the first setup. All right, the last step in this process is for us to just water this one in. I'm going to fill up the reservoir, and I'm going to keep filling it up until water comes out the bottom. Now, it's going to take time for it to fill each and every pocket, but I want to at least get it all the way through the system and out the bottom. All right, so I filled it up at the top and I just left it running till you could see the water coming out the bottom. You can see it dripping into the spinner and coming out the hose. And since this is the first watering, I want to make sure that I saturate each and every one of these pockets very well. I typically saturate each of the tiers prior to setting it up, but I didn't do that this time, so that's why I want to make sure that that water gets all the way through the system. And you know it's going through the system. You can't hear it, but you can hear it as it's hitting each of the trays and working its way through the system. While it's filling up each of those watering discs, it will slowly continue to release at each level. But I'm going to give it a helping hand since this is the first time we filled it up. So I am going to individually water each of these pockets today. I typically wouldn't do that. I only water the pockets when I have seeds that I'm starting in the GreenStalk, because you want to make sure that those seeds stay moist. They don't have the roots to pull that moisture up from the bottom yet. So I water my pockets to keep the seeds moist. Where there are transplants, you just need to make sure that those pockets stay moist using the proper watering system. So let's turn this on and give each pocket a little watering. I got to be careful that I don't wash my seeds away. I'm going to give it a little spin. See, I don't even have to go around the tower. You just give it a little spin. And then for each of the individual pockets, so for the tomatoes, I'm going to give them a little water all the way around. Same thing for the lettuce, all the way around. Now the little gray watering disc is also watering. You don't have to do this every time you water. I'm just doing it because the soil is brand new to this tower. I didn't dampen it or anything like that before I set it up, which is a step I usually take, but no harm, no foul. We're good either way. I only have 2 pockets, or 3 pockets, I should say, on the bottom that don't have anything in them, and that's for my broccoli. I'm going to go ahead and water those in as well, though, because I need the water. I need all of the pockets nice and damp. The spinach, I'm going to give it more of a lighter spray, not to lose my seeds. And now I'm going to go back up to the top, and we're going to fill this thing up again to make sure that we're truly watering in each and every one of these pockets. The next question is understanding, when do I need to water the tower? Like, we're watering it in pretty deeply right now, but when do I need to water it again? And for that, you know, there's many different things, many different ways people like to do it, but let me just tell you the way I like to do it. The top will dry out, right? So you can't use the same method that you would for a seedling. So when you're starting seeds in a teeny little tray, you want the top to dry out when it's a light brown, and then you add more. You can't think about it like that with the GreenStalk. I like to put my finger down into the pocket, and if there's still moisture inside that pocket, I don't water. I just put my finger in. If it's nice and moist, we're good to go. In the deep summer months, you know, when it's 90 in the shade, I water these probably once a day. But at this time of year where we're averaging low 60s, maybe once a week, unless you have seeds. If you have seeds, you have to make sure you keep those pockets moist. All right, let me turn this off again. And we will just continue this process until I know each and every one of these pockets are watered all the way in. And when I'm not in the area, I keep the lid on to keep the trash out. And these are some cool little lids. I believe online you can buy them outside of the watering system. I believe that they're $12 or $13, and you can buy them separate from the self-watering system if you're interested in them. And I think they're important, at least in my area, with the number of trees around me. So that's how we water it in. There you have it, a complete green stalk. On the bottom, you have cool weather crops. You're gonna have broccoli, you're gonna have cauliflower, and then other cool weather crops. You have different lettuces. And then there are warm weather crops going in here too. You have tomatoes going in here. You have basil going in here. You have radishes going in here. You have some plants that's gonna last you all season. You have lettuce that's cut and come again, so you'll be able to keep harvesting from it. And then you'll have radishes in the top that you'll harvest once and replant. The GreenStalk provides great options for small spaces. We have plenty of space, but you always need a GreenStalk in your garden. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing to the channel so I can continue to bring this great content. Have a wonderful, blessed day. And until next time, bye.